everyone, and welcome to WGBS TV Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. My name is Steve Eunice. In this, our July 5th, 2021 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including the sad news of the death of Richard Donner. We're going to be talking about upcoming Superman and Lois episodes, new comic books. We'll do our fan favourite segment and so much more. We're also going to turn to you to ask for your questions and comments on any particular Superman topic you would like to discuss. And to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show, let me introduce you to my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Steve, how's it going tonight?
Well, and yourself?
Oh, it's crazy around here for some reason today. I have no idea why, but we're not here to talk about my day. We're probably not even here to talk about your day. We're here to talk about Superman. Since WGBS Live is live right now on YouTube, we want to hear from the people that are watching us right now. So, about halfway through the show, and if we don't have too much to talk about, we're going to take your calls. So how do we do that? Well, you're going to need Skype. Go on to Skype, find Superman homepage, message us that you'd like to be on the show. It's pretty much that simple. Now, a couple of things, and these are important. One, message us. Don't just call, because I can screw things up. Two, if you are using an external speaker to watch WGBS Live, please turn that down or off or mute it or whatever, because we are on a bit of delay and that can screw things up.
Yes, indeed. And for those who are watching live via YouTube, we invite you to join in the comments there with fellow watchers. Just get involved, type your questions, ask comments, other way around. Ask questions, type your comments, that way. Just get involved in the chat. Everyone will be there talking. Great to see Mark, Robert, Michael, a few others there, JP, so Ollie. So yeah, there's a few people already in the comments chatting away. Get involved, and Michael and I will keep an eye on what you have to say as the show continues. And thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. And if you want to support the Superman homepage, then just simply head to patreon.com/Superman homepage, or you can click the join button below there on YouTube with different levels of perks. Well, Michael, happy 4th of July for yesterday for you guys.
Yeah, it was very low key around here. We didn't really do anything. Frankly, I kind of hate the 4th of July at this point, mainly because all it does is upset our dogs. Because they don't understand why there's fireworks. But, I hope everyone had a nice holiday.
Yeah, so happy Independence Day to all our US viewers. We hope you enjoyed your day. And sadly, we start with some very upsetting movie news with the death of director Richard Donner today. He passed away aged 91. Obviously, he directed Superman the movie and obviously the Donner cut of Superman 2, having filmed both those films side by side at the same time, but then getting fired, I guess, from completing Superman 2 by the Salkinds, who he had issues with as their relationship continued. But what an awesome director, what a great man who's done so much for not just movies in general, but was, really put the comic book movie on the map with Superman the movie, which is still to this day being used as the pinnacle of what others see a superhero movie should be like.
Yeah, I saw this just as I was heading into the gym today, and my first thought, which I kind of feel bad about, was, well, I guess we'll be talking about this tonight. But the other was, it's not just, Superman the movie would be enough for just about any director. But, he directed one of the seminal episodes of The Twilight Zone, the one with William Shatner, who's seeing the gremlin on the plane. He directed the Lethal Weapon films. He directed Goonies, Scrooged. I mean, this man had The Omen. I mean, he had an amazing career before he did Superman the movie. He had an amazing career after Superman the movie. And it's weird to think that he was like in his 40s when he did Superman the movie. So it's just like, I remember back in 2018 when the 40th anniversary of the film rolled around, and I realized that, I'm like, oh, oh no, that means we don't have him for much longer,
Mm.
unfortunately. But he gave us, I can be cheesy here and say he gave us the gift of flight, which he very much did. But he did set a precedent and helped make the superhero film more than just schlock for Saturday morning. And you know, basically he set the template. Batman Begins in 2005 is set up very, very much like Superman the movie was because it's a good template. So, yeah, it's really sad. It's also kind of heartwarming to see the outpouring of um,
The tribute.
memories and tributes that are happening on social media right now.
Yeah, so many. Zack Snyder posted his tribute to Richard Donner, as did Steven Spielberg, who obviously worked with him on Goonies. And yeah, just so many other tributes out there on social media. DC Comics posted their own official um, tribute to Richard Donner, and yeah, it's. I mean, 91 is a great life. It's a great age. We should all be so lucky to reach that ripe old age. But it's always sad when you lose a legend of
Yeah,
the industry, and someone who was seminal in creating a pivotal moment in all our lives as fans of film and fans of the character. And we wish his family and his friends the best, and give our condolences to all those who knew him best and were close to him.
yeah, very much so.
I actually had the great honor of interviewing Richard Donner back in 2001 ahead of the release of Superman the movie DVD, the special edition. Wasn't a personal or over the phone one, it was just via email, just a text based um, interview, but it was great that we were able to do that. And I asked him some of the odd questions that I like to do from time to time, like things like, if you're down to your last $10, how would you spend it? And he said he'd buy his wife a good meal. Don't know how
Oh.
much you can get for $10, but and I asked him things like, who would you least like to sit next to on a long aeroplane flight? And he said Joel Silver. So
Well,
very,
it's interesting because his wife and their production company was the start of kind of the modern comic book films as well, because they
mm,
produced the X-Men movies.
yes, yeah. So obviously he and his wife
Just
were
hit
very
me.
close. So very an awesome man, and as I said, all the fitting tributes out there, do him justice. So we we celebrate his life and the great contributions that he made, not just to Superman, but to the movie industry and the world as a whole.
Yes.
All right, so tribute to Richard Donner. All right, moving on, looking at other news, which is interesting because there are some Superman the movie uh, news that also seem to come out at the same time today. I was made aware of a free online event titled An Evening with Superman, which will be taking place in the next couple of days, July 10th, Saturday, July 10th. This is a free online event with special guest Colin Chilvers, who was the special effects Oscar winner on Superman the movie, Diane Sherry Case, who played Lana Lang, the young Lana Lang in Superman the movie, and Sid Child, who was a stunt actress on the film as well, uncredited, I think. All you have to do is send an email to lives in the picture or lives in the picture at gmail.com to register. It is a free Zoom event, and it's presented by Lives in the Pictures Presents. So that's Saturday, July 10th at 7 p.m. local time, I guess. You just have to check when the details are as far as what's BST. I've never heard of BST before.
I've never heard of BST either.
Hmm.
We are both unawares.
Maybe somebody else out there can enlighten us as to what BST is. Maybe it's yeah. Okay, I couldn't even hazard a guess. I suppose I could look it up, but I'm sure someone will enlighten us. So yeah, if you're interested in that event, it's a free online event this Saturday.
It's weird that they're doing Superman the movie, and yet is that a Superman the movie image? I thought that was from Superman
That
4.
does look like Superman 4, yes. That
I
is.
could be wrong about that, but
No, but
that's
no,
just
you're right. I think you are right.
I just those things always kind of trip me up, and I don't like to be that well actually type of fan,
Mm.
because you know what where a pedantic fanboy gets his water from, right? A well, actually.
Uh,
Um,
uh,
yeah, it's a terrible joke. I had to go through with it though. But every time I see like them going, "This is Superman the movie," and it's like from Superman 2, I'm like, "That's not from Superman the movie.
no,
It's just Christopher Reeve." I get it,
yeah,
but
no, I'm with you there. Yeah, you can't. I mean, Justin just went, "Hey, you guys," in the comments. We can't forget back with Richard Donner that in the Goonies movie, Sloth, revealed that Superman shirt and had the John Williams, a little bit of a trumpet thing there going in the background. That was quite an interesting, cool moment.
British summertime, according to Justin
Okay.
Suarez and Ollie.
Yeah, BST, British
So,
Summertime. Okay.
okay, there
Yeah,
we go. Okay, that's good.
thank you. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, I saw Goonies in the theater. My
Mm,
aunt took me and my sisters to see it, and when the Superman moment happened, and especially since they had like the little bit of the music too, I lost my young mind.
yeah, I bet you did. It was a very cool moment. So, yeah, and in other Superman movie news, is it Muriel? Is that how you say her name, or Mariel?
Muriel, I've heard Muriel. It's either U or A, and people pronounce it like either way. It's kind of weird.
Okay, well, Mariel.
I don't really.
Yeah,
Yes.
she was the actress who uh, was Lacey Warfield in the movie Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. She will be appearing at the Mid-Atlantic Nostalgia Convention in August, August 19th to August 21st in Hunt Valley, Maryland. Um, so if you're interested in meeting her, she'll be at that convention, with conventions starting to open up there in the US slowly but surely.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Dragon Con is going on,
Cool. Are you going to attend?
so I will be attending and will be presenting stuff, wearing a mask,
Of course.
obviously.
Very
Uh, I don't know how it's going to be. It's going to be really weird, because I don't know how many people are going to be staying away. I don't know how, or if it's going to be busy because no one could go last year.
Hmm.
How they're going to do social distancing. Are they going to require people to be vaccinated? It's still, I mean, it's a couple months away, but it's still very much up in the air at this point.
Other moving parts. But I did, yeah, I got an email from Mariel's agent who contacted me to let me know about her appearance at this convention, and I've hit him up for an interview if we can manage to score that.
Ooh.
I think that would be an interesting interview to talk to her about how she feels about Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
Well, obviously she wants to talk about it because they're contacting you. So.
Yeah, so it would be interesting to have a chat to her about that. So yeah, that's the convention coming up in August. And lastly, on the movie side of things, yes, Zack Snyder is still around, and he has a screening of the Justice League, Justice is Grey cut of his film happening at IMAX theaters, which is a fan charity screening. There is one in LA, one in New York, and another in Austin, Texas. You can win tickets to a fan charity screening of Zack Snyder's Justice League, Justice is Grey, and that will be taking place on July 19th. So entries close July 15th. Head to our website for the details on how you can participate in that particular contest.
Woohoo.
Yeah,
Of course, that's the version that they're going to do for the charity screening. Of course, that's the gray one. So maybe I shouldn't be snarky tonight.
But yeah, so that'll be interesting to see it in IMAX. Obviously, that was the ratios that it was intended to be seen in. Although I'd probably prefer to see the color version if I'm going to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna bother to go to the theater, I don't want to see I don't want to see a movie about a bunch of characters that are supposed to be super colorful and have, like, and come from the four color media in black and white. I mean, it's just so pretentious.
I will agree with you. Oh, finally on the Superman movie, and well, I guess it's TV and movie because there was an auction taking place where props from certain Superman movies and television shows were available to bid on, and they fetched an impressive price at the recent Entertainment Memorabilia Live auction in Los Angeles. The Solitude, Fortress of Solitude crystal from Superman the movie was available, one of many. It wasn't just one that they created, obviously, but this crystal from the 1978 film was made of clear resin and features an uneven pointed end or ends. This was expected to sell between $2,000 and $3,000 US, but ended up going for a whopping $11,000.
Wow.
That is quite impressive. But it would be awesome to have that in your collection.
I now want to know if that person's gonna like take it to the Arctic and like throw it
Mm,
just to see what happens. No, that would be a cool thing to have. I mean, the crystals were always one of those kind of weird things because they were like far out there sci-fi because apparently all the information is in the crystals. And we've covered here stories about them actually putting information on crystal now. But just having one of those would be like just have it like get a little stand for it and put it on the bookshelf. That would be awesome.
yeah, Justin's catching you out there. Obviously, it was the green one that he threw.
Yeah,
You know,
it was. Come on.
where these were more of the information crystals that he would pull out and
Yeah.
get the poem about a tree and other really insightful information that Jarrell packed into these crystals for him to learn from.
Tree tall and strong. The Camptown lady sings this song.
Yes, I remember that from the bloopers.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yes, from the outtakes. Yes.
Some of the other items that were on the auction included Lex Luthor's Kryptonite shard from Superman Returns, which sold for $6,000, while the Space Station Prometheus model miniature from the pilot episode of Lois and Clark was expected to go for between $6,000 and $8,000. It only, actually no, it hadn't finished at the time. It had a starting bid of 3,000. It was expected to go between 6 and 8. I don't know what the final price on that was, but if you want to have a look at more of the items that were available, propstoreauction.com to check out that particular auction that took place just this past week.
Yeah, I guess that would have been a model. Now that I think about it, that wouldn't have been CGI at that point.
No, indeed.
Huh. Interesting.
Although they might have had the model on display at a particular, when they were launching the idea about, this is what we're going to be doing, when they're doing like a media event and that type of thing. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen
Well,
that.
yeah, they did. I think Lex had an idea for a space station, and that's why he was trying to sabotage the current one. If I'm remembering correctly. It's been many years since I've seen the pilot for Lois and Clark.
So yeah, that was a pretty cool auction with some interesting items that went for a great price. All right, on the television side of things, we found out this week that they've wrapped filming on season 1 of Superman and Lois. They posted a great photo of the cast and crew. Turn off that auction item. There they are, the cast and crew, a massive group photo celebrating the wrapping up of season 1 of the TV series, and all wearing masks. So very, very cool to see that they're all being very responsible there with their COVID restrictions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I liked it. They had 2 different photos. I thought, like one there and one at like the Tal Rose Fortress.
Mm-hmm.
Set, which was actually kind of interesting to see from a distance. That like above a certain height, it's just a set.
Yeah.
And I was surprised that much of it was practical because I assumed a lot of that was CGI, but apparently not.
So there you have it. You just don't realize how many people actually work behind the scenes on these TV shows.
Oh yeah, I mean, just in turn, that probably includes like all the extras too. I mean, you got the grips and the people, running the cameras and stuff like that.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm glad that they released that because they really
They've worked
those
hard.
pe- that yeah that I guess that's my point. They worked hard under really difficult
Mm.
circumstances, and having to go on hiatus a couple different times when they really weren't planning it. Um, it's just amazing that they were able to give us what they were able to give us.
Indeed, indeed. I mean, I struggle wearing a mask just for an hour or two when you're out somewhere in the shopping centre or what have you, and you've got to work under trying conditions with a mask all day. I mean, it's a bit
Hmm.
like having to do it in your own job 8 hours a day.
Yes, yes, I'm tired of it. I'm still doing it. They've given me the option that since I'm fully vaccinated, that I don't have to wear a mask, but I still got people at home that I got to watch out for.
Yeah,
So
because being fully vaccinated doesn't mean that you still can't contract COVID. It just means that your symptoms and your chances of catching it are much, much lower. But
yeah.
yeah, it's just like the flu shot. It doesn't mean
Hmm.
you're immune. It just means that you're less likely to get it, and your symptoms will be a lot less, severe. So yeah, still got to be careful. But we
Yes,
we
very
do
much
know
so.
that Superman and Lois will return for its next new episode next week, Tuesday, July 13th, and the episode is titled "Through the Valley of Death." And we finally got a description for this episode, "Through the Valley of Death." It reads, "Lois and John Henry Irons can't seem to agree on the best way to stop Morgan Edge. Meanwhile, Jonathan encourages Jordan to focus on strengthening his powers to help locate their dad. Lastly, an old friend is brought in to help with the search."
Pretty sure that's Diggle.
Yeah, yeah, an old.
So,
Okay, so they've obviously had some previous dealings.
oh, I'm sure in the post-crisis world, Diggle has worked with Lois in the past.
Hmm.
I'm willing to put money on it.
Yes, and we do have a season trailer that kind of wraps up how things have how we've gotten to this point in most recent episodes. Take a look at. I should load it, I guess. Take a look at this trailer from the CW, giving us just kind of a update on where things are at.
You are my life's greatest disappointment. All my life, I dreamt of having a brother, a family, only to have you reject me! It didn't have to be this way.
Your dad's been in worse spots, and he always gets out of them.
Pledge to me that you will submit, and I promise to let them live.
I can't let you do this.
Then I will make you suffer.
He has a family to fight for. Be the hero I knew you would be.
Everyone out!
He will fight through this, and he will win.
There you have it. That was the what they called "He Will Win" season trailer, giving us a brief update on where things are at for Superman and Lois, and when we for our return to new episodes, as I said, next week.
Yep, looking forward to that.
Now, there's been a little bit of confusion about when and have um, next week's episode, which will be episode 12 of season one, and then we will get episode 13 titled Failsafe the following week, July 20th. But then I believe they have another couple of weeks break until we return for the final 3 episodes of the season to conclude season one.
So there's 15 episodes, right?
Correct.
So there's only 4 episodes left.
12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, 4 episodes left.
Okay.
Yeah. So after July 20th, we'll get a couple of weeks break because I believe the finale is August 15th.
Yeah, let's look at a calendar real quick while you vamp.
Yeah, well, I'll read the description of Failsafe, episode 13, while you do that. It reads, Superman pays a visit to Morgan Edge. Meanwhile, Lois and Chrissy work together on a story. Lastly, Jonathan finds a welcome distraction during a very stressful school day. That's interesting.
So you said the last episode's on what day?
Did I say August 15th?
August 15th would be a Sunday.
Okay, or 16th.
That would be a Monday. The 17th probably. That would be the next Tuesday. So there would be, if it is the 17th, there would be another week break somewhere. So that follows.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I believe that's where there's a week in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Another break, but yeah, looking forward to the remaining episodes of season 1 of Superman and Lois, and we obviously do know that it has been renewed and picked up for a second season, and hopefully the run of filming for that will be a lot smoother than what they had to deal with in this first season.
Yeah, I'm sure they've gotten a lot of that kind of shaken out for the next one.
We do know now that Sophia Hasmick, who plays Chrissy Beppo, has been her role has been promoted to a series regular for season 2. So that's great for her, that she'll be more involved in the upcoming second season of the show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I really like her character.
All right, well, we're just at the, so I wrote here, no, so the series finale is set to air on August 10th.
Okay, so that makes sense. That would be 4 weeks.
So that means there'll be 4 weeks in a row?
No, there will be a break in one of those weeks.
Okay, so I think it's between 12 and 13. There'll be a break after that, and then 14 and 15 will happen the week with a week's break in between. Yeah, so there'll be 2 episodes of break and then 2 more episodes to finish season 1. Now that we've got that,
alrighty,
let's move on. We are at the halfway mark of tonight's show, so we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back on the flip side to do our fan favorite segment. We'll talk comic books. We will do the history, this week in history, and a couple of merchandise items we'll need to look at. So we'll be back right after these messages. Do not go anywhere.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying WGBS TV Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program. Just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by visiting patreon.com/Superman homepage.
Up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
Attention, Superman fans. Superman glasses are coming to Taco Bell.
That's right. Taco Bell is offering Superman glasses with exciting scenes from the movie. There's 6 of them. Every time you buy a medium-sized Pepsi-Cola, you can buy a Superman glass. But supplies are limited, so hurry down to your Taco Bell and start your own collection of Superman glasses.
Superman glasses, now only at Taco Bell.
Would it be appropriate to play that ad?
Great. He does that at work, and it's okay. I do that at work, and I got to talk to HR. Perfect. I see how it is, Taco Bell.
It's funny, the uniforms that they don't wear those little hats anymore, do they?
No, they don't. Not at all.
It's funny because we've been here in Australia celebrating 50 years since McDonald's first came to Australia, and they're showing some of the old, little in their commercial celebrating that. They've got some of the old commercials and some of the outfits and uniforms that they used to make people wear, behind the counter, and fashions have changed.
Yeah, when I worked at McDonald's in '92 and in '94, and both times I had to wear a visor, not one of those little caps. So it was miserable work. It really is.
All right, we're going to do our fan favorite segment of our show, so let's get into that with our intro. All right, what was our fan favorite question for last week, Michael?
What is your favorite Superman sporting apparel? And JJ, you can call him Jay, or you can call him Jay. Either way. He wrote that his Jim Lee Superman baseball cap.
And there it is there. So, yeah, technically it's sporting apparel being a baseball cap, although baseball caps are a fashion item these days as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are.
Justin asks, would you like fries with that?
Don't. I worked behind the thing. I didn't have to ask that, thankfully.
Cool. All right. Next up from who do we have next? We had Ryan Ignatius Pratt. He wrote in saying, "My favorite Superman sporting apparel is this cool Superman baseball jersey, which I love. I've provided both pictures of both the front and the back. So very cool. A very nice jersey there.
I like the S on that sleeve. That's really cool.
Yeah. So thank you, Ryan, and thank you to JJ. Obviously, I'm wearing my Rabbitohs Superman jersey, one of 3 that they, well, 4 technically, if you include the Batman v Superman one that they did. This is my favourite because I love the S on the front here. There's the rabbit. So which is the rugby league team that I support here in Australia, and I was part owned by Russell Crowe, who obviously starred in Man of Steel as Jor-El. So I was very thankful that my 2 passions came together, and because there were other teams. One team did a Marvel whole thing where some of the teams did different Marvel designs for their jerseys. But I was pleased that the Rabbitohs came together with the Superman film to create a couple of these awesome jerseys.
Yeah, I have somewhere in this house. I could not find it. It was not where I thought it was going to be. A Superman football jersey. Oh, yeah. That's actually really hot. But it once you get it on, it's kind of comfortable. But it's just made of like this material that's kind of itchy. But it was really cool. It's got a plasticky super S symbol on it. It's like really dark blue. I have no idea where it is. I was planning on wearing it tonight. And that just did not happen. So now I am sad.
Oh, but people have already commented on they love the shirt that you do have on. So
yes, I'm trying to have interesting shirts because we're doing this weekly, so I have to cycle through some. But trying to get that way. There's a online site that I'm trying to buy some shirts from, just to have for the show, so that it doesn't get too boring.
Try to get a sponsor who can just, instead of paying money to sponsor the show, just give us shirts that we can wear on a regular basis?
I am very cheap. Just give me free stuff, and I'll as long as you're not like trafficking people, I'll support you.
All right, our new fan favorite question for this month, Michael, is
what is your favorite Superman face mask? And that one is actually right over there. Yeah, because I'll reveal it next week, but my wife actually made it.
Yeah, I've seen some of the ones that she's done. They're fantastic, which I thought would be an awesome chance for you to show some of the great work that she's done. But face mask is still very relevant, still very much a thing that people should be wearing, vaccinated or not. We are currently still in the midst of a lockdown here in where I live, here in Australia, in our particular state, and got another week of that to go. Hopefully not more than that, but mandated. You have to wear masks wherever you go outside, in places of business or indoor locations. So I've got a number of masks. I just wore one this morning to buy a takeaway coffee when we went for our walk. So show us your favourite Superman mask. It doesn't have to be a surgical pandemic mask. It could be any other type of masks that you might have, because there have been a few masks that have been released over the years. There was a great Bizarro and Brainiac one, like horror masks that I had. They deteriorated many moons ago, and I had to get rid of them. They just fell apart over time. But there's the email address on your screen, info@supermanhomepage.com. Send in your photos of your favourite Superman face mask. We will present those to you next week when we return to the fan favourite segment of our show.
I am looking forward to seeing what people have.
Yeah, indeed. All right, let's move into This Week in History, because I know you've got some interesting items teed up for us. Here is your intro.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bars of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
All righty. We do have, once you get to 1981, it gets kind of crazy. But in 1961, we had Superboy, number 91, which looks like they're doing a Civil War reenactment, because you have Superboy's Civil War time trip. The Superboy of Bigville. Remember, everybody, there was Smallville, and next to that, I'm not kidding, there was Bigville. And the Super Hungry Superheroes, which sounds like a board game from the 90s. Also in 1961, you had Superman pals Jimmy Olsen. Number 55, you had Jimmy Olsen's Secret Power, and he's apparently knocked Superman out. He's got like the birdies flying around his head. Jimmy the Red, Thor's best pal. So apparently, that was like a year or so before Marvel's Thor. So I guess that isn't like a cross-company thing. And the Monster That Loved Aqua Jimmy. That sounds kind of horrific. Jumping to 1971, we have Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane, number 113, which was a giant issue that looks like it has a bunch of reprints in it, like The Monster Who Loved Lois Lane, The Return of Lois's Monster Sweetheart. Wow, it was a thing. The Girl Who Mourned for Superman and Superman's romance with Lana Lang. Also that same year, we have Superboy number 177, which is Our Traitor Super Son. I love these covers. I don't know about you, Steve. I love these overdramatic Superboy covers. There's like one where Jonathan's hung himself. I mean, it's just... Wow. Apparently the 70s were very dramatic for Superboy. And this also had a Legion story in it, because that was how things were. Also, we have Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, number 141. Will the real Don Rickles panic? And a Newsboy Legion backup in that one.
Don Rickles was a comedian, for those who don't know who he was.
Yeah, he was kind of like an insult comedian, where he would kind of pick on the audience and pick on, like, if he was on Johnny Carson, and he'd make fun of Johnny Carson. Dan Jurgens, a couple earlier this year, revealed that Goody Rickles was really the one responsible for Doomsday. So you heard it here. In 1981, we have DC Comics Presents number 38, which is one of the many times Superman and the Flash teamed up. And that had a Whatever Happened to the Crimson Avenger story as a backup. That is a really good story. It's got a really good ending to it. Also that same month and year, Justice League of America number 195, which was the first part of one of the Justice League Justice Society crossovers. And the Superman in this one was the Superman of Earth 2, as drawn by George Perez. This is an awesome story. It is really good. Also from 1981, Krypton Chronicles number 2 by E. Nelson Bridwell with art by Kurt Swan. This is continuing like the history of Krypton as told in kind of flashes, really. That's a good series. I'm surprised they haven't reprinted it yet. And that same year, Superman number 364, The Sounds That Menaced Metropolis, plus, ironically, a story of Superman 2021. So those haven't been as popular as the 2021s were last year. Jumping ahead to 1991, one of my favorite annuals of the post-crisis era, Superman in Action Comics Annual number 3, What If Superman Was Elected President, which they were able to do because that Superman was born, quote-unquote, when the Matrix opened up on Earth. Yep. So it's a really neat story where he actually gets elected president and gets a Green Lantern ring. It's kind of crazy. It's all part of Armageddon 2001. Kind of weird to think that Armageddon 2001 is now 20 years ago. Weird. We also had War of the Gods number 1, which is a extremely forgettable crossover. Not one of the better ones, but Superman was front and center on that cover. Jumping to 2001, another, I don't know, Our Worlds at War was not as forgettable as War of the Gods. We have Our Worlds at War JLA number 1. Also that same week, Superman number 172, which has a really good Ed McGuinness cover. I love Ed. Yeah, I love Ed McGuinness on this title. And we had Young Justice number 35, where Young Justice got drafted into the war. I enjoyed that. Jumping ahead to 2011, we have DC Comics Presents Superman number 4. This is one of those 100-page spectaculars that reprinted some of the Nightwing Superman crossovers from a couple years.
Giant S-curl from Superman's hair.
Yeah, Scott McDaniel had a really good handle on Superman. That was he drew the character for a little while in 2003, but that was from before that. But yeah, his S-curl is all out of control. Also, we have a very ominous cover, Attack of the Hollow Men on Superman number 9. So we're 2 issues away from that series ending. In the real world, Eva Marie Saint, who was Martha Kent and Superman Returns, was born on July 4th, 1924. On July 6th, 1950, John Byrne, who would revamp Superman in 1986, was born. And on July 10th, Joe Shuster, who I think had something to do with Superman. I'm not quite sure. His connection is tenuous. Obviously, I'm kidding. He co-created the character. Was born in 1914. And that is This Week in History.
Excellent. Great. Thank you so much for that. Very cool. This Week in History, seeing so many awesome issues and some great covers there from this week back in, for the decades previous. All right, into the comic book side of things in the current times, we had an interview by Tom Taylor, who spoke about the upcoming launch of the new title, Superman, Son of Kal-El, with the first issue coming out on July 27th. He spoke to, the fact that he's, finally writing a Superman comic book in current continuity. Talked about, how crazy it is that a young guy from Australia is now writing one of the main Superman books. And he has a lot of great things to say about the character and where he will be taking John, who is obviously the son of Kal-El, as the Superman in this book.
Yeah, I wish I was more excited.
Yeah,
because
the Superman, not Kal-El, not Clark Kent that he'll be writing about, but it's a cool comic book cover, and I've always, enjoyed what Tom Taylor has to write. So I think he's a great writer. But yeah, I'm with you that it's taking over the main Superman title, and it's now a new book about John, not about Superman, his father. So yeah, I can understand why your excitement level wouldn't be where others might have it.
But for those that are excited for it, wanting to read about it, I did see on Twitter they published like a preview image, and apparently they're redoing how John was born again. I think this will be the third time that they've played with that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I hope that it's very popular and that it has a very large fan base, and that Tom Taylor has a really good time writing it.
Indeed. And in another interview, this one with CBR.com, Grant Morrison talks about his upcoming comic book miniseries, Superman and the Authority, and what we can expect from the series, and what he thinks of the idea of an authoritarian Superman, which is interesting because that was what Tom Taylor wrote in the Injustice series. And Grant Morrison in this interview says that he thinks the idea that Superman would react to the death of Lois Lane by becoming a tyrant is ridiculous. He says, my husband died and I didn't become a tyrant. If I can handle it, Superman can handle it.
Yeah, we were talking about this in an upcoming interview on From Crisis to Crisis that we had with Elliot S. Magan that I'm editing at the moment. And he kind of had a very similar reaction to the idea of Superman becoming tyrannical or going crazy if something happened to Lois. It's become an overused idea. I mean, ideas in and of themselves, most ideas, let me preface that, most ideas aren't bad. There are some ideas that are terrible.
I know Grant Morrison is gender neutral and likes to go by they rather than he.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that if you're not consciously thinking about it, you make the mistake.
Yeah, and most people who who have just go by a certain pronoun are usually pretty understanding, especially if you've known them as he or she like for a long time. There's always going to be that shakedown period. So, but I appreciate Mind the Gap reminding us of that.
And it's not intentional. I'm not trying to dismiss their wish for that to happen, but it's just part of the way you speak. It's very hard to not do one or the other. And I've met Grant Morrison at a convention here in Sydney and many years ago now, and really enjoyed having a chat. Although I found their accent really difficult to understand.
Morrison's accent is very, very thick. It's interesting if you listen to Grant and Mark Miller, they're both Scottish and they both have like different spectrums of a Scottish accent.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, because I met them together actually at a convention, and Mark Miller introduced me to Grant, and we had the conversation, and Mark's much easier to understand, but Grant Morrison is nevertheless a great author, a great writer, and looking forward to seeing what we have to come out of Superman and the Authority, this mini-series that will be released July 20th, the first issue. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right, but as for comic books that are available this week, this is what we have to look forward to, and it is a pretty big week for Superman comic books. Here is the issues that you can read this week, dated July 6th. We have Action Comics Annuals. It's funny because you were just in This Week in History looking at an Action Comics Annual from back in the day, but this is the Action Comics Annual 2021, number one, coming out this week, and that is also available in a variant cover right there. Also out this week, we have Crime Syndicate number 5, the Legion of Justice. They're taking over the cover title, which by all accounts from our reviewer is a really cool issue. So Crime Syndicate number 5, and that is available in this variant cover. Also out this week, and you might be interested in this one, Michael, Justice League Infinity #1.
Ooh.
Obviously based on the Justice League Unlimited animated series continuity. That book is also available in a variant cover right there. So that first issue is out this week. Justice League number 64 is also out this week. And yes, that is available in a variant cover. Then there's Suicide Squad number 5 out this week, and that is also available in a variant cover there with Ultraman on the in the background. Then in the trade paperback collected hardcovers, we have Justice League of America, the Bronze Age Omnibus Volume 3 hardcover coming out. And there's also Justice League Unlimited Girl Power trade paperback out this week as well. And that is what's available for comic book fans who are reading comic books coming out July 6th.
It's kind of cool that they're reprinting some of those Justice League Adventures comics from the early 2000s from when the animated series came out.
Yeah, it's cool stories.
Are we really coming up on the 20th anniversary of Justice League? Well, we have to be because it's the same year Smallville came out. God. Wow.
I know.
And this September is the 20th anniversary of me starting to write for the Superman homepage.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's hitting me like a freight train right now.
I just sent out...
I may need a minute.
This past week I sent out the 480th issue of our newsletter, which is bi-monthly, and that is pretty much tells me I've been doing it for 20 years, sending out that newsletter. So the first newsletter was sent out reporting on the fact that a pilot screening of Smallville had aired on some locations, some TV screens, and that I finally got a VHS copy of that, which had a different actress as Martha Kent originally. And I think we interviewed her back in the day about her.
That interview is mentioned on the guys behind Starkville's House of L are doing a 5-episode miniseries called Save Me, which is all about the history of Smallville, and quote your interview with her when they were talking about the pilot. So it's interesting that you mentioned that because I was just listening to quotes from that.
There you go. So it's 20 years writing a newsletter that's been emailed out twice a month. Kind of caught me by surprise that 480 issues later, still going strong.
Oof.
I mean, and we're talking about in that newsletter I mentioned that we had a chat room, which was a text-based thing that we did back before this kind of thing happened, and that was the way we communicated. Of course, we predated Facebook, we predated Skype, we predated pretty much all the social media out. We predated what else did we predate? Some of the other major things out there. So but we were there before Facebook, there before Skype, and there before YouTube even. So that's how old we are.
It's tough being a trendsetter, but you do it well, Steve.
Trying to maintain the rage. All right, let's look at what's available out there in the world of collectibles. This week we saw Beast Kingdom release. Better turn that one off. A Superman, it's available for pre-order from Entertainment Earth. A Beast Kingdom's DC Comics Superman DAH 045 Dynamic Action Heroes action figure. That is available to pre-order now for its release in January 2022. It is 8 inches tall and is priced at $84.99.
It's not too bad.
So, an 8-inch tall action figure. That would be similar to would it be the Mego?
Yeah, it would be around Amigo height, I would think. This I'm going to dub the Come At Me Bro Superman. Because that seems to be most of the positions they put him in.
That heat vision, that's weird. light up function. There you go.
Well, that's a cool pose. I like that one.
Yeah, so it's action figure coming out January next year. It does have the S on the back, although it's the same S that's on the front pretty much, not the yellow version that you might be familiar with on most of capes. But that comes out January 2022, and as I said, it's available for $84.99 US. You can pre-order it now through our website via Entertainment Earth. Red Eyes of
That's
anger.
The angry red eyes of anger, yes.
You got to get that in first. Also, we previewed this last week, but now XM Studios have given us a complete look at the upcoming Supergirl statue that they have coming out. This 1/4 scale statue is now available to pre-order from various online retailers, although there's not a US one that I could see. But it has the rocket ship that she landed in. She's torn off the front of it, I guess. I'm not sure what that is at the bottom that she's stepping on. But it also is available in a different head sculpt with, again, the angry red eyes of anger and a different type of hair style there. It is available to pre-order for its 14th of July release, and I don't have a price for it there, but you can pre-order it from different locations around the world thanks to XM Studios.
I like that base, though. That's a really neat Superman or S symbol on that. So,
yeah, it says here, really tall buildings and outspeed bullets, but what would have happened if she wasn't, well, he says she wasn't raised by the decent, humble souls that gave her morals? Well, he'd be, okay, so he's saying what would happen if Superman wasn't raised by all these kind of thing? Well, he'd be Supergirl. That's not very nice. Saying that she's
what?
Not, yeah. It says, what would happen if Superman wasn't raised by decent, humble souls that gave him his morals? What if he arrived on Earth as a teenager with all the attitude and rebellion that comes with the territory? Well, he'd be Supergirl. That's
oh man, that's terrible. That's absolutely awful. Really, seriously, like, were they trying to pitch to their Supergirl like series idea? Well, apparently that's kind of the Supergirl that's being done right now, but still
very bizarre. Anyway, that brings us to the end of tonight's episode. I want to thank everyone for tuning into tonight's episode of WGBS TV Live. I want to thank all those who were there in our YouTube comments for your particular involvement in the show and your participation. We really thank you for your comments and your questions. Really loved having you as part of the show. And thank you to my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
And thanks to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. And remember, if you'd like to support the Superman homepage, you can do so for as little as $1. Just head to patreon.com/Superman homepage or hit the join button there below on YouTube. But Michael and I will be back next week for our next show, which will be on July 12th. We look forward to talking with you then at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey. Thanks for watching WGBS TV Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com.